will have to yell. Karelle, please come up here.
Kwinganawa Lomwa, Neshanic Karelle Hall, Ninonjiai Nantakoking, Waklanapoking, Navalotman Wendaktukwa. Good evening. We gather here in the heart of Lenape-Hoking, homelands of the Lenape people. The Lenape's first contact with Europeans was when Verrazano sailed into New York Bay in 1524. He was followed by wave after wave of colonial settlers who pushed us to the edges of our territories. We have survived centuries of broken treaties and violence. Today, most people commonly think about this place as New Jersey by its colonial name, and of the Lenape people as part of history, but not part of the present. Some cities and waterways retain echoes of their Lenape origins. Places like Hoboken, Hackensack, Secaucus, Mahwah, Piscataway, Metuchen, Cohansey. Due to colonial expansion, Lenape people have been driven into Kansas, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, and Ontario. Although many Lenape people have been pushed into diaspora across the continent, so I won't throw out my voice. Okay, here we go. So, although many Lenape people have been pushed into diaspora across the continent, we are still here. And there are Lenape people who continue to live here in the homelands. Lenape-Hoking continues to be part of our past, our present, and our future. And while this ongoing legacy of colonialism continues to impact us all, it is not only enough to acknowledge that we are here on the ancestral territory of the Lenape. So tonight, I encourage each and every one of you to reflect on this long history of erasure and dispossession and determine what actions that you can take towards reconciliation. Some of the examples of this include supporting Indigenous community projects such as language revitalization or environmental restorations. You can petition your local school systems to reject those racist mascots and include meaningful education on Native American history, culture, government, or literature. I know that many of you never had the opportunity to learn about Native Americans when you were in school. And I know, although that New Jersey does have a better track record than many of the other states in this country with giving some Native American history, but take some time now to learn more. There are so many resources out there in this age of technology with easy access to media and information. Learn about the local and national Native histories. Learn about the ongoing issues surrounding Native sovereignty and political activism. Learn that Native people are not a monolith, but many diverse and different communities. And learn what things are specific to our Lenape people. Buy from Native artists rather than from commercially produced Native-inspired fashions and accessories. Native appreciation, not appropriation. Each of you has this ability to make small ripples that together will form waves of change. I also encourage you, as we talk of land acknowledgements, to acknowledge the land itself. How can each of us be in better relationship with this land, with the animals, plants, and waterways? And allow me right now to lead by example as I greet the land and the living world around us. Kuinganawa lomwa anushi kukana aki wak bi kisho nipahum along wewak tindau wak pepatakwik mitkwak mihuskwal wak papak balashak anushik alamiliang wichapiko Kuinganawa lomwa awaya isak awech lashoshak wak namasak wak achkoksak. In our Lenape language, we recognize the animacy of the world around us. The animate pronouns, those pronouns he, she, and they, are not limited to people as they are in English, but are used for all living beings, for animals, plants, water, stars. We recognize their personhood, that they have their own histories and languages, that they have every right to exist alongside us, and that they have much to teach us. So take that time to consider the animals and plants around you as you go through your day. Greet them as your neighbors. Be mindful of the harm you may be doing to them in their homes. Practice gratitude when you drink water or gather herbs or vegetables from your garden. Each of us can work to create a better environment for future generations of human and non-human relatives. So let us embrace the wisdom of Indigenous people and follow their lead on actions that will help to create a better future for the entire planet. Wanishi.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Karelle, for grounding our celebration tonight with acknowledgement of the ancestral homelands of the Lenape Nation that we are standing upon, those who remain, and our future yet to come. Thank you. So we could not be more thrilled to have you all here with us this evening for our first in-person benefit since 2019. A lot has happened since then, to say the least, as we continue to struggle daily in a world devastated by inequity and war and an ongoing pandemic, which has also severely impacted 67% of the arts and culture sector. But we are here to celebrate surviving and growing with you all to respond to communities on the front lines of art making for social change. Ever since we began helping veterans tell their story through deconstructing and making paper for military uniforms in 2011, and since our founders began talks to create a socially engaged educational organization in paper and print back in 1973. Frontline Arts has nationally recognized socially engaged arts programming serving over 6,000 individuals a year, from the Frontline Paper Veteran Program conducting workshops across the country, to the Scrubs Paper Project conducting workshops with healthcare workers, patients, and communities during the pandemic, to the Migration Project working with immigrant families in New York, plus our long-standing classes and studio services in print and paper for adults and youth, exhibitions, and so much more. This year's theme is Pathways and Confluences, a coming together, a flow, a merging of communities and ideas, finding common ground across borders, celebrating our achievements and perseverance through the pandemic, the future, and the history of the organization and the land itself. We are looking at where we've been to see where we're going. We will be recognizing and honoring the Somerset County Park Commission for supporting Frontline Arts, formerly the Printmaking Council of New Jersey, for 45 years, as well as honoring Janice Haggerty and the Merrill G and Emita E Hastings Foundation as a longtime supporter. We will be highlighting the outstanding achievements of veteran artist and community organizer Maria Salazar, and credible performances by poet, performer, and medical student Maya J. Sorini, plus a talk and art demonstration by veteran and autism awareness advocate Mark Oldland. We'll wrap up the evening with more of the groovin' tunes you've been hearing by the talented Artisan Council. But I would like to take a very special moment to give a special shout out to our board and especially our staff and volunteers who have given their all throughout the pandemic. They never faltered in their commitment, continuing to work while we were completely shut down in 2020, with nothing but uncertainty in the air. They went the extra mile by making paper in their own basements and their backyards, creating the Scrubs Paper Project in response to the pandemic, setting up impromptu home offices and coming together as a community in the summer heat for our very first outdoor workshops. They also did the intensive labor of outfitting our entire building with the latest air purification and disinfection equipment. So to our staff, our volunteers, our instructors, and our board, you are our backbone and we would be nothing without you. Please give them a round of applause. I'd also like to thank all of our members, our donors, our funders for keeping our lights on and our programs running throughout the pandemic. Without you, our doors would remain closed. A special thanks to the New Jersey State Council on the Arts, the New Jersey Arts and Culture Recovery Fund, Pro Bono, the SBA, the NGEDA, and the Dodge Foundation, and so many more for their continued and emergency support. Also to our Frontline paper supporters, the Branchburg Rotary Foundation, the 52 Reasons to Love the Vet Fund. Yes! Our corporate funders, Janssen, Warner Media, and Church & Dwight, and the incredible publicity from Talia Lugassi and her film taking inspiration from the Frontline paper program. You've got to watch This Is Not a War Story, which is currently on HBO Max. Also, thank you to Donna Basson and the Montclair Art Museum for the installation of 1,000 sheets of Frontline paper for By Their Own Hand, documenting veteran suicide. In helping to bring our programs back out and on the ground, thanks to all who have taken our classes and attended our events and our exhibition. Thank you to Camila Figueroa and the Queens Museum for their work on the Migration Project, and to all of those who have supported our Scrubs Paper Project and so many organizations that have gotten the Frontline Paper program back out and on the road. Thank you to Delicious Heights and the Valley of Neshanic and the Somerset County Park Commission for working with us to plan our first big event in several years. For providing such a wonderful venue with great cuisine and service. And thank you to our Benefit Planning Committee, board members Tara and Janina, staff Lindsey, Mike and Hugo, our videographer Robert Sackie, and our amazing event consultants Britt Pham and Nor Batini of Future Ancestors. Thank you for all of your hard work in putting this together. Also thanks Thank you to our estuary and headwater sponsors, the Merrill G and Emita E Hastings Foundation and the JS Group. For sponsoring our event, as well as our advertisers, silent auction donors, and in-kind sponsors. After our main programming, we will have more time to engage with the prompts at your tables, peruse the silent auction, have dessert, during an ongoing art demonstration. We're going to wrap up the auction at 9:20 with a checkout at 9:30. Please feel free to mingle afterwards. You're actually allowed to hang out with us until 10:30 if you really like. We'll have a good time. Thank you for coming. So I would like to have our board president and Frontline Arts co-founder, Dave Keefe, do the next introduction.
So I just want to highlight that everything that Rachel just mentioned, everything that you saw up here on this screen, was all done during the pandemic. That, to me, is incredible commitment, dedication, perseverance, resilience for this staff, this executive director, our board, to stay together as a team, to lift each other up through this incredibly difficult time, going on 3 years, to do all of that work, continue all of that work in the public for the communities that we serve. I want our board to stand up. Giannina, Craig, Tara, Donna. I want our staff to stand up. Rachel, Lindsey, Mike, Hugo, Jen, anyone else I'm missing? Round of applause for this incredible Ron, Walt, this incredible team. To stick together through this entire time. From my position, I could not be more grateful for the leadership, the absolute commitment from our executive director. I think Rachel Heberling needs a round of applause. Our executive director, Rachel Heberling. And we're not done, as you can tell. We like to party. So now, to get on with the show, I have the distinct pleasure to introduce you to an incredible artist, change maker, and caregiver, Emita E. Sorini. As students together at Columbia University, I had the privilege of hearing some of Emita's harrowing experiences working in hospital and emergency settings, and then witnessing her beautiful poetry detailing those moments, not only as personal expression, but as a window into the trauma that healthcare workers experience day in and day out. She's an incredible performer, as well as a medical student with a background in trauma surgery research. She has a master's degree and has taught at Columbia University Narrative Medicine program, and continues to work as a freelance narrative medicine workshop facilitator. She currently attends Hackensack Meridian School of Medicine, lives in Bergen County. Please welcome and give you Emita Sorini.
Hello. Thank you so much, Dave, for that introduction, and thank you for the Land Acknowledgement. Oh, I'm really tall, as Rachel said when I walked in. She's only ever met me on Zoom. It's true. The body only speaks her own language. The body cannot make sense of bullets ricochet from pelvis up through bowels and back off rib, and will not apologize. The body doesn't speak lead. She only speaks blood, knowing so well its pulse that upon introduction of mechanical pump to replace a rhythmic heart, the body rebels by pushing insidious blood into the intestines whisper by whisper. The body only speaks her native language. She does not compromise, will not be colonized, cannot be forced to assimilate to our messy, inexact tongues. She bleeds. She knows how to do this. She does it expertly. We say, rate your pain, but her retort is zapped with electricity and sticky with blood. Impossible to translate even when, like me, you have thrown your life at the task of decoding her messages. My heartbeat is like a tinnitus, a ringing through my body. I do not get to ignore it. Sometimes, my body is trying to say something, a lifetime of chatter. I work tirelessly to understand. Sometimes we manage to communicate in a pidgin of our languages, hanging on each other's every word, using every ounce of energy we have to speak. These days, I'm poring over dictionaries, bleeding into Google Translate, trying to find an interpreter so that when she uses words I don't understand, someone can help me put together more sentences. I need to get this much across. Dear body, be brave. In defense of the ICD system. Listen, we were trying to keep this unsaid, but you're leaving us without choices. We are not the icy fools you make us out to be. How have you not yet figured out? It is easier to talk about the patients in numbers and single letters, to reduce everything from a broken pelvis to homelessness down to an ICD-10 code. Think, just for a second, about us. We don't have time to write this many goddamn poems. You can't expect us to live it all de novo, to sit by the chart and write, "Here lies the child." What's left of them? What the molten road didn't burn away? What was not crushed by tons of steel? What is left after the 50 times we have pressed our scalp into them with our scalpels, peeling them away gram by gram, applying chemicals and salves in a sort of salvage mission? We don't want to write that poem, to be tasked with titling it, to have to write it and then start editing the 500 lines of our shock and continuous grief so that it fits on the page. When you start writing that poem, you won't stop, not for hours, and there are 26 patients on your service today. It is necessary to create limits, to not start the poems in the first place for the sake of productivity. We will put instead W31.9, contact with unspecified machinery, and be done with it.
And I'm short. Thank you so much, Maya. That was absolutely incredible. The Somerset County Park Commission was founded in 1956, and in those 66 years have acquired nearly 15,000 acres, of which 3,750 have been developed into general use parks, visited by more than 2 million park users a year. These lands contain 5 golf courses, one of which we are standing upon, the Neshanic Valley Golf Course, which is a certified river-friendly golf course, Audubon Cooperative Sanctuary, and groundwater gardening green site, which is the only golf course in the state and possibly the country to hold all 3 designations. The parks also contain a riding stable, environmental education center, tennis, swimming, paddle boating, award-winning gardens, 6 parks with athletic fields, picnic facilities, bike paths, fishing, and several natural areas. We are so honored that they were crucial in finding a home for the Printmaking Council, along with the renovated building and the donation of 34 acres of land by Ralph T. Reeve and Bowman Engineering back in 1977. We moved in October of '79 and are thrilled to have the continued support for 45 years, with many more to come. So to the Somerset County Park Commission, accepted by Director Geoffrey Soriano, we would like to present you with the Lifetime Support Award from Frontline Arts. Please come forward.
All right. I'm a little bit taller than, not as tall as, same thing. Karelle, the Land Acknowledgement piece, I'm not sure where she is, that was awesome, really good. And Maya, I am not an artist, but tonight what I'm gonna say is right off a fortune cookie, because this is the closest that I can get to becoming a poet, right? This one says, courage is the hallmark of the word. That was the best that our table can do. It's awesome, right? Thank you. So first and foremost, a big thank you to all the folks at Frontline Arts. Like, this is spectacular. Really. What a nice night. Pathways and Confluences. Wow. What a sensational theme. What a great night. What a great venue. And I'm a little bit biased, right? Green team over here. The Somerset County Park Commission is exceptionally grateful for your honor. We are. We truly are. I want to give a shout out, as you have already, to Delicious Heights. There are new food and beverage concessionaires. I don't know where Mike is, Julia, they're probably hiding, but awesome, awesome. Now, yes, awesome. Food was spectacular. I have to give a little shout out to my green team table over here. All right? Those like me that fancy themselves to be like Masters champions, right? Because we're all wearing green jackets, right? We think we're good golfers. But what is a creative cocktail attire anyway? I mean, what is it? I think we did. I think we killed it. I think we crushed it. We started it a little bit. And we matched really well with your linen tonight. Inside baseball, we knew what it was going to be, so we matched it. So from the Park Commission, our president, DJ Hunzinger, right here, wave, and his wife Stephanie Hunzinger, Commissioner Kevin McCallum, and his wife, someone who Rachel knows better than me, Janine Erickson, the big boss, and her husband Jeff, from the Park Foundation. Now we have a foundation that supports us spectacularly, sensationally. Jason Damio is our vice chairman, and his wife Kelly is here. These are my bosses, and I would be remiss not to include my big boss, my wife, Kathy. And Maya, she's about to defend her doctorate dissertation in like 12 days, right? Ooh. So in 1974, Ralph T. Reeve gifted 34.6 acres of land with structures in the North Branch section of Branchburg Township to the county of Somerset. Spectacular. It was Mr. Reeve's inspiration and vision that the Somerset County Park Commission would develop, promote, and support cultural activities on that property. On January 9th, 1975, go back. You weren't even born. I'm looking at you right there. You weren't even born, right? You weren't even born then. 1975, the Park Commission passed a resolution for the purpose of announcing its pledge to faithfully administer the stewardship of these lands. And after a few years, I think you said 79, I think it might have been 78, but who cares? 1 year, right? The Printmaking Council of New Jersey became the first tenant at the Ralph T. Reeve Cultural Arts Center. Almost 45 years later, it's Frontline Arts. Now, I ask you, how many landlords have ever had only one tenant in 45 years? Rachel, can we get another 45?
I hope so.
Okay. On behalf of the Somerset County Park Foundation and the Somerset County Park Commission, please accept our dearest gratitude for the honor bestowed. Congratulations to Frontline Arts. Here's to a more vibrant pathways and a more robust confluences. Thank you so much.
Okay, so now it's my turn to introduce and honor our next honoree. Rachel mentioned earlier in her speech something about survival. And to me, I've been around Printmaking Center, I've been around Frontline Arts for quite some time. And I think of a lot of people when it comes to survival. There's one person that comes to mind, and you're about to meet her. Janice Haggerty has been a trustee of her family's foundation, the Merrill G and Emita Hastings Foundation, for over 30 years. Her career has been in the visual arts, spanning the gallery, auction, and museum worlds, and she now sits on nonprofits boards and committees. The Hastings Foundation has been supporting the visual and performing arts, wildlife and environmental conservation, and other program areas for over 50 years. Janice directs the giving in New Jersey and in New York. She partners, collaborates, and coordinates with grantees to support their goals both strategically and financially. In 2015, the Hastings Foundation provided Frontline Paper a matching grant to assist with the purchase of their mobile workshop van, and she continues to provide support for Frontline Paper and the general operations of Frontline Arts, and that van is still running strong. Thank you, Walt, for all the work you do on that van. When I think of all the work we have done as Combat Paper New Jersey, as the Printmaking Center of New Jersey, as Frontline Arts, there are so many people with real dedication and commitment. There are few that are ride or die with Frontline Arts, and there's distinctly one that is a powerhouse of support, that supports our survival. Not flashy, not in the open, but behind the scenes. And it isn't always the financial, it isn't always the coming around, it isn't always the volunteering support that she provides. But every once in a while I get an email out of the blue saying, great job. Or that Rachel, she's kicking ass. Or the board, the staff, I love what y'all are doing. Et cetera, et cetera. It's those little bits of support over the years that I cannot thank this person enough. This award is called the Dedicated Patron Award, and I cannot think of anyone more deserving for this award than Janice Haggerty. So Janice Haggerty and the Merrill G and Emita E Hastings Foundation represent you with the Dedicated Patron Award. Janice, please come on.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Dave, both from myself and the Merrill G and Emita E Hastings Foundation. Oops, sorry. I so appreciate this recognition. I am really humbled. The arts connect, build empathy, allow stories to be told, promote community, and more. Frontline exemplifies this. Last year, I was delighted to nominate Frontline Arts for the Somerset County Excellence in the Arts Award, which, of course, they received. They're incredible. And this month, I became quite involved with, sorry for this plug, but this month I became quite involved with tonight's auction. So on that note, please, if there are items at the auction that interest you, please continue to bid and bid and bid over there. Lastly, as has been said tonight, the people who daily make Frontline what it is are to be applauded. We are most grateful for all of you. Thank you. Wow. Beautiful. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing, thank you. Okay, next up, Maria Mia Salazar is a Marine Corps veteran who was born in Peru and joined the Marine Corps after 9/11, deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. She has a BS of art therapy with a focus in ceramics and art history, and is a sculptor, visual artist, writer, and poet who performs across New Jersey and New York. Maria is the founder and executive director of Claymore Vets, a nonprofit whose C4 mission is to cultivate a creative and connected community of veterans, first responders, and artists to foster social reconnection and growth rooted in clay and visual arts. And they have just found a physical home at the Manville VFW. Maria also works as an accredited veteran service officer for Morris County, is a Zumba dance instructor, and volunteers with many community veteran organizations such as Montford Point Marines of New Jersey, Team RWB, VFW, Marine Corps League, and Veteran Artist Programming. So to Maria, we present you with the Rising Star Award. And we're not calling you a rising star because you aren't there yet, but it's because you just keep going and going and going up and out of this solar system, shooting for the moon and beyond. So thank you, Maria, for being you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Just really quick, I want to thank David. I know the
She's
tall
very
people.
tall.
The tall people kind of come up here. I just want to say quickly thank you to Frontline Arts because I actually, pandemic, I moved back home and I was a little lost, and you guys opened your home to my crazy ideas, and you know I'm really thankful for that because I needed to kind of find my grounding again, and because you guys have made me feel creatively safe again, I can help our community. So thank you so much for that. That's it.
Back to the short person. Okay, so I have a very surprise announcement. Surprise. So there's someone special here tonight named Bessie Williams. Hi. So we just want to show our appreciation of all your incredible support of our Scrubs Paper project since December 2020, ordering our paper online, sharing your stories, your photo collages of your family, and your work as a nurse on the transplant ward, your dedicated support of all your patients throughout the pandemic, and traveling all the way out here from Newark with your sister. We think you're an amazing human being. So Bessie, we wanted to surprise you with the Guardian Angel Frontline Worker Award. Bessie, please come up front. She's a CNA.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh. Could I take the mask off?
Yes, take it off.
So I know Dave did a little bit, but before we moved on, I wanted to give one final award to our executive director, Rachel. She's kept us alive through the pandemic, and I honestly don't believe that Frontline Arts would still be here if she wasn't our executive director. She has given a home. I think me and Tara were talking about it's like a place for the neurodivergents to work. And she's honestly just the best boss ever, so I made her a certificate to hand her. I already gave you the flowers, I spoiled a little bit, but I just wanted to have a round of applause for Rachel one more time.
To keep moving, we have our art demonstration for the evening with Mark Oldland. Mark is an autistic adult who resides in Hillsborough, New Jersey, with his wife and son, who also has autism spectrum disorder. As an artist, he strives to positively promote the abilities of autistic individuals by providing a window into their uniquely shared perspective of the world. Mark began his education at the Pennsylvania School of Art and Design in Lancaster, PA, then transferred to Maryland Institute College of Art in Baltimore, completing his undergraduate studies in general fine art. Mark's early works were influenced by his fascination and interaction with moving water, and as a result, his art career took a non-traditional turn when he enlisted in the United States Coast Guard to further his understanding of moving water. His service time included patrols on the Bering Sea and the South Pacific, while he continued to paint and draw the impacts of the environment. His experiences in the Coast Guard unexpectedly led him to pursue a career with the Environmental Protection Agency in emergency response. This atypical path has pushed his artwork from analytical abstraction to more of the representational world, which, as an autistic individual, Mark finds abstract. This newfound range from one extreme to the other is the basis of his current art exploration, wherein he creates work to illustrate his spectrum through his series called Puddle Jumping, which celebrates a treasured outlet that he shares with his son Kyle. This shows how, as autistic individuals, they are more than capable of knowing how to let loose and have fun. Mark is also the very first awardee of our brand new veteran residency program, thanks to 52 Reasons to the Love a Vet Fund. Tonight, he's premiering one of the first prints in the series by drawing it live while projecting it onto the screen just after his presentation. You can pre-order one of his prints at our print and merch table just after his presentation for tonight at a special price. So everyone, please welcome Mark Oldland. And lentil.
Thank you, Rachel, for that kind introduction. Let me start by thanking Frontline Arts and Monson Arts and Elleru and Babayette and the Hunter Healthcare Foundation for this amazing residency opportunity. As has been mentioned, my name is Mark Oldland. I'm an artist and a Coast Guard veteran, but what's most important to understand about me is that I am an autistic individual. This is not just the through line for all of my artwork, but it's the through line for everything that I do. Being autistic influences all aspects of me as an individual, not just my artwork. I cannot simply separate myself from my autism to paint something or make a print. Whether or not I choose to make it the focal point of what I'm doing, it's always going to be there and resonate within the imagery. That's why I choose to fully embrace it and use my artwork to educate the public about how I see, feel, and interact with the world. To educate the public about autism. When I think about 52 Reasons to Love a Vet and the Frontline Arts Veterans Opportunities in Art and Art Education Fund, I think about the importance of understanding that we're not just sailors and soldiers serving in some far-off place. We're a diverse collection of humans with a myriad of intriguing complexities to offer towards society. This residency opportunity will provide me with a chance to showcase that to you in my own specific way. In a moment, I plan to introduce you through video to my son Kyle, who is also autistic. Together, we navigate this world differently than most individuals. We think, perceive, and interact outside the bounds of the neurotypical framework society has been built around. The series of prints I will be working alongside Frontline Arts over the next year is intended to turn the neurotypical framework on its head and ask the viewer to attempt to engage the world from a different perspective, a neurodiverse perspective. With that, I ask you to join me this year on my journey to recognize there's not just 52 reasons to love a vet, there are billions of reasons to love a person, And there's one great phenomenal way to love Kyle and I, puddle jumping.
Hey all you Kyle fans, today we're stopping in puddles. We're gonna take some videos to show you the fun puddles. Hey, that one, look at that one.
You stripped your love down to the wire. Fire shining cold alone outside. You stripped it right down to the wire. But I see you behind those tired eyes. Now as you wade through the shadows that live in your heart, you'll find the light that leads home. 'Cause I see you for you and your beautiful scars. Take my hand, don't let go. 'Cause it's not too late, it's not too late. I see the hope in your heart. And sometimes you lose and sometimes you're shooting broken arrows in the dark. But I see the hope in your heart. I've seen the darkness in the light.
What's going on? Ready, set, go.
You have to tear down the walls that live in your heart to find someone you call home. Now you see me for me and my beautiful scars. Take my hand, don't let go. 'Cause it's not too late, it's not too late. I see the hope in your heart. And sometimes you lose and sometimes you're shooting broken arrows in the dark. But I see the hope in your heart.
Hello?
It's not too late, it's not too late. I see the hope in your heart. Sometimes you're losing, sometimes shooting broken arrows in the dark. Oh,
Hopefully you all enjoyed that, and it's provided you with a glimpse into my world, my creative process, and the journey I invite you to take with me and Kyle in learning more about ourselves as one great big interconnected neurodiverse society. Thank you once again to everyone involved. Please join me in a few moments for a special live demonstration that I've prepared, which will produce a print especially for this occasion, highlighting the urgent need to preserve our precious ecosystem and connecting my love of water and waterways. The print, which will be titled Skipping for Shad, will illustrate the imagined activities that shad partake in while Kyle and I skip rocks on the surface. I'd like to turn it back over to Rachel to describe a bit more about this evening's activity.
Thank you so much, Mark, for your wonderful talk and video about your artistic process and the relationship with your son, Kyle. Absolutely wonderful and touching. So Mark is going to do his live demonstration for the next half hour, and we encourage you to pre-order his special print and purchase other prints at our merch table, as well as mingle, have dessert, and make your bids on the silent auction. I hope it's okay with everyone. We're running a little bit late on our schedule. If we can announce the silent auction at 9:30 and then check out afterwards, is that okay with everybody? Are we cool? Okay, all right. So we're gonna make the announcement at 9:30. We'll give you a warning when it's 5 minutes left. Please, please, please go bid. So please enjoy More Tunes by the Artisan Council while Mark does his live demonstration. Thank you so much.